Welcome back to inventRightTV. This is Stephen Key, and I want to thank you for watching our channel. All right, 60% of the people that are watching this channel have not subscribed, and I need for you to subscribe down below, and I'll tell you the reason why. It helps us bring on other types of guests that can help you, so please subscribe down below. During this video, Kevin Prince, patent agent, is going to talk about how to fast track your patents to get them issued fast. And the reason why that's important, sometimes you need those patents, but also we're going to talk about the 1-2 punch to protect your ideas. So please watch this video and subscribe down below. All right, Stephen Key here with inventRightTV, and I have a very special guest and a good friend for over 20 years, Kevin Prince, patent agent. How are you doing, Kevin?
Doing great, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, you've been in this game for a long time. I know that you've been helping all of us inventors for how many years now?
Well, quick patents, we're getting into our 20th year here. So,
okay.
And I was working with a previous patent agent for 4, so I've been doing this for 24 years.
Okay, and let's talk about a patent agent for just a minute.
Sure.
What's the difference between a patent agent and a patent attorney?
The law degree, to be concise. So both patent agents and patent attorneys are collectively called patent practitioners by the Patent Office. Both have to have a 4-year degree in some kind of science or engineering, and both have to take the patent bar exam and pass.
All
the
right.
difference is a patent attorney also has a law degree and can go beyond what I can do at the Patent Office, sue people for infringement or write licensing agreements, things that you would consider the practice of law. I can only practice law in this one little sliver called patent prosecution.
Okay. Well, we love that about you, Kevin, because you do a really good job for a lot of people, and you've been doing it for a long time, but you do my work too, which I really appreciate. And I want to talk a little bit about what you've done recently for a project I'm involved in. Just so everybody knows, I'm still licensing ideas, and I work with the team. I think there's 9 of us on this one particular packaging innovation, and we're working with some really big companies. So we have to make sure our IP is done well. That's why Kevin's helping us do that. But also, sometimes we have to get it issued a little quicker. So I know that there's kind of a backlog. It seems like there's a backlog at the moment. So if you want to get a patent, if you don't do this little thing we're going to talk about in just a minute, it could be years before you get this issued. And that's not acceptable in some situations, not at all. So there's a program called Fast Track.
It's for the utility patents, it's the Track 1 program at the Patent Office.
Okay.
And they allow, I believe it's 15,000 applications a year to be put on the Track 1 program.
Track 1.
And you have to pay extra. And they will promise that instead of getting to your application within 18 to 36 months, they'll try to get to it within 12 months. And sometimes it's even faster.
It's faster than that, even though, wait a minute. It's fast because it's only, you did an application for us just recently, but it got all the I would say all the claims have to be adjusted a little bit, but it's going to get issued. How fast is that going to be?
5 months, maybe. But that's, their goal is 12 months, so we got lucky with that one.
Well, you know what was crazy about it? We need, number one, we need it. So thank you for getting that done so quickly. And thank you for all the claims are going to get issued. That's wonderful too. But the thing I don't quite understand, I've also heard that you're going to have less office actions, which gets really expensive. Right? Have you heard that too, that you actually get less?
I've heard that, but I can't see why that would be the case, logically. But anything can happen with the government. You just don't know. In my experience, I think they have been a little bit more lenient on the fast tracked applications. Um, you know,
Okay.
it's hard to say.
Well, regardless, it's working beautifully. It worked beautifully for us. So, Kevin, how much more is it so people know?
Well, if you're a small entity, it's about 1,400 more.
Okay.
And if you're a micro entity, it's about 1,050 more, something like that.
So, I don't understand. That's not. I know it's. I know a lot of it's on budgets. I get it, but to compare how short the time is, and maybe even eliminating maybe an office action, why wouldn't everyone do that?
Well, yeah, it can be a very attractive thing, but sometimes people like to be patent pending longer than, so it depends on your patent strategy, really,
I
and where
no,
you're
I
going.
would.
In your situation, you need to get something issued quickly. That's not always the case, and some people are happy with a 3-year wait because while people are waiting and it says patent pending, no one knows actually what's in your patent.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I used to think I always wanted to wait. I loved the patent pending strategy, but I think I've kind of changed my attitude a little bit. If I can show a company that I have the IP, I think it's a little bit stronger, of course, to get the deal done. And today, a lot of companies, although in some categories, I don't know if they really care if there's a patent because products go in and out so quickly. But in some situations where it is required, I want to fast track it now.
Right. Well, so the advantage you guys had was you had innovative products, so that obviously helps. You thank me for the claims, but that was your innovation. So
Well,
kudos to
hopefully,
you on that. But the other thing is typically I think the bigger company you're working with, the more they're going to want to see an issued patent.
yeah, it's really true, and I'm seeing that more and more. Not in all categories. I know the tool they want it in tools. Probably there's some other categories too. Medical, I'm sure they're going to want that too. There's some categories if you're playing with really big companies, you really want to fast track this thing. So, Kevin, I want to talk a little bit about the fast track's important, but let's talk about what can we do to give you good information to help us do a good job.
I'll tell you, I've kind of refined this a bit over the years. The best information for me on a utility patent is to get the MVP. I want to know, what do you consider the minimum viable product? I want this to be the simplest version of your product, no bells and whistles, nothing optional.
Okay.
So that if you take out one element, it's no longer recognizable as your invention. Okay, that's what I try to get to for claim 1. And then, in addition to that, I want a list of all the optional features that you would want to add.
Okay.
Because what happens is people think there's a lot of misconceptions about claims and what patents are for. Patents are not a license to make and sell something. A lot of people think that. They say, do I need a patent to sell this? And I'm like, no, you don't. What you need a patent for is to stop someone else from making and selling it. And so the MVP, if we can get a claim on the MVP, the minimum product, even if that's not what you're intending to sell, you're going to sell a more deluxe model on the market, right? But if we can get a claim on the MVP, that's a huge barrier for your competitors to have to try to figure out how do they make this with taking one of those elements out,
Yeah. Kevin, tell me, let's talk a little bit about design patents too.
Okay.
Because I like the combination now. Mm-hmm. There was a time where I didn't really, I didn't file a lot of design patents, but now I like the combination. I like I call it the 1-2 punch. I file that, I start with the provisional patent application, then I go to a non-provisional patent application. If I want to file overseas, maybe PCT. But I like a couple design patents of how that's actually going to look. Is that a good strategy?
It depends on the product, but yeah, if you have something that has a unique look, and that is something that would be suitable for a design patent, obviously, then I think design patents are underutilized. And I like the 1-2 punch, as you call it, because things can happen with the utility patent. And if your deals require to have a patent, you're almost 95% chance likely you're going to get a design patent through. That's really the opposite with the utility patent. I would say 95% of the time we get a rejection on utility patents, and then you got to fight with the examiner. And with design patents, it's really the opposite. 95% of the time they go straight through. We don't have any problems. They're less expensive. They go through the patent office fairly quickly, and you can then say, if you filed both, you can legally say multiple patents pending, which is it's a bigger no trespassing sign.
No, I think it's a great strategy. How fast does that go through the system versus a utility?
12 to 18 months is typical.
Okay.
And you can speed up the design patent to 6 months. And I just got one through in 6 weeks. You can believe that. I can't even believe it. I was like, there's no way the patent office can go that fast. But we sped it up and got a notice of allowance 6 weeks later. It was crazy.
So is that track 1 too for that? It's called something else.
Program, they call it the Docket program. And yeah.
Wait a minute, they're actually marketing over there at the USPTO.
I think it's more of an unofficial title.
All right.
But we call it the Docket program, and it's a little different. We have to. There's no limit on the number of those that the patent office will do a year. But we have to do some of their work for them in order for them to consider that. We have to do a very thorough design patent search. We have to tell them what classes and subclasses we looked in. And so there's some extra paperwork that we have to do and some extra effort. And that's about $1,000 more as well.
Okay.
In terms of the price.
So design patents, I really love them, but they're not that simple, actually, are they?
No, there's some tricks. So that's the interesting thing, and that's why I like design patents, because to the extent that you can protect what's distinctive about your look, your design, then you can get a fairly strong design patent. Think of Crocs shoes, the sandals all the kids were wearing.
Sure.
They won a design patent case against a couple of Chinese importers. They were bringing in similar looking sandals. Now, the holes were a different shape, and the pattern that they made on the front of the sandal was different, and the strap going around the back of the ankle was different. But when the judge looked at it, he said, the ordinary consumer is going to think that these are Crocs.
Okay.
And so they were able to prevail in that case. And that's because they used what's called the ordinary observer test. The closer it looks, is the average consumer going to think that those could be the same company?
All right. I love that test. So,
yeah.
But it's also very complicated just the way the drawings are done, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. It can be, because we can use broken lines to disclaim certain elements.
All right.
So let's say you had a design for a unique, say, a strip of molding. It has a unique cross section.
All right.
But it could be any length, right? And so you have to. There's really nothing in the design patent where we're talking about materials, or we don't go into a lot of text detail. It's all about the drawings.
Okay.
And so we can cut out a portion of the center and put that in broken lines and disclaim it. And so now we're just really claiming the ends, and it can be any length.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Things like that we can do, and we just have to look at it and see.
Okay.
Really, what's the most important? What are the most important features? Anything that's optional, like your logo. People always want their logo on it. I'm like, no, we put the logo in broken lines because your competitor, is going to use his logo, right?
Got it. Well, let's talk one last thing here. The reason why I also like design patents, if you're selling online, that's a really great tool to notify those online sellers, or maybe the platform, that, hey, look, there's a violation here, that someone's copying my ideas. Is that true?
It is true. I've had a number of clients who wake up one day and the product that was selling well on Amazon, now there's 50 competitors from factories in China, all selling, sometimes they even sell it with the same markings and things. They just took a copy of it and made a mold out of it and started, producing them for Amazon. So there's ways to stop that. If you have it, but you have to have some type of patent. And a design patent works for that. And sometimes I think a design patent is easier for Amazon to look at the two. Oh yeah, that does look close. And then, that makes it easy. They don't have to understand claims, right?
But see, yeah, I think it's a lot easier because the other, you have to understand claims. We're here, you just go, oh, yes. And they're pretty much copying you pretty closely, if not exactly. Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously, there is a point at which you can depart from the protection of the design patent if you change it enough.
All right. Kevin, great stuff. I love track one. And if you've got an application, if you've got a great idea and you really want to get that issued quickly, consider the track one. And of course, consider design patents. I like the 1-2 punch. And if you really want someone that's really good at this, he's the guy, Kevin Prince. You guys, his information is going to be down below. He does great work. It gets done quickly, which I really like. I like your name, Quick Patents, but also it's done well. Kevin, anything else?
Thanks so much, Stephen. Appreciate you and all of the work you're doing in this field.
Well, it's a combination, you guys. You've got to have a great idea, but you need to protect that too, and you have to do it the right way. And you want to do it in such a way that you're just not wasting money. And, if you really want someone that's going to take care of you, Kevin Prince is the guy. Kevin, thank you very much for coming on InventRight TV.